Hello, everybody. I'm Anthony, along with Leon, Marco, Blake, and Chris. And this is the 50th episode of Hard Knock Hawks. This is the podcast where we talk about our favorite team, the Atlanta Hawks, and sometimes other stuff in the NBA too. Before we start, I would like to remind everyone listening to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast to help make the show grow. Today, we are going to give our first thoughts on the first three games of the Hawks 2025 to 2026 season. Uh, I'm just, as usual, before we start to give our general thoughts, I usually give the general stats for where our team ranks, like offensively and defensively. Right now, obviously, it's only 3 games in, so it's very early, so things can change right now. And considering our 1-2 record and the blowouts that happen, it's going to look very bad. But right now, we have the 29th ranked offense and the 26th ranked defense. That's not exactly good for right now, but hopefully the team can improve and can figure things out. So I'm just going to start with you, Blake. It's been a minute since you've been on here. What's your general thoughts on the team's first 3 games after seeing everything so far?
Um, obviously, I think turnovers need to cut down. I think that was the problem with the Thunder. I think they had 17 turnovers. I think first 3 games they've had at least 16. So taking care of the ball, probably one of the more important things that they need to work on. I know that there's been some missed floaters and layups and a lot of missed 2-pointers inside of the arc, especially Dyson. But we saw it last year. I think it'll eventually come around. It's just when, matter of when, not if. Um, but yeah, a lot of guys, a lot of moving pieces coming into the year. Quinn's still trying to adapt to them. They're still trying to play in a system they're not used to. So I think it's just a matter of time. They've got 3 important road games coming up, hoping that the offense can really get going then. 3 very winnable games. But yeah, it's just a matter of time.
All right, I'm going to go to you, Leon. What's your general thoughts after seeing the Hawks in action for 3 games?
The 1-2 record is, okay. It's obviously not as good as 3-0, not as good as 2-1, but to kind of lay an egg in game one, giving up almost 90 points in the paint, and then to come back on the road and down 2 starters and beat the Orlando Magic on their home floor, that was notable. That took a lot of guts. It was a comeback late in the game. I was impressed by that. And then against OKC, you're down 3 starters. It's an uphill battle from the tip. And you compete for about three pretty good quarters. And it's just with that third quarter, just they made a lot of shots. You didn't make a lot of shots, and you turned the ball over a few times, and the game kind of got away from the Hawks. It's okay. Um, you really weren't expecting anything but to compete in that game. I didn't expect to win, for the Hawks to win. But right now, I think the biggest thing for me at the moment is the rebounds. I think the rebounds are going to be a problem. I think it was a bigger problem against the Raptors because with Dyson in foul trouble, he's such a good rebounder for a guard. I think he had 9 against the Magic, led the team. And that's the kind of stuff that we're going to need. And another thing was in that third quarter against the Thunder, you could see that they made a point to attack the offensive boards early in that third quarter, and they got so many second chance points. And like our first shot defense wasn't that bad, but when you're giving them offensive rebounds, and we're in scramble, a team with championship DNA is gonna execute off of those mistakes that we make, not finishing the defensive possession with a rebound. But as far as the offense is concerned, like Blake said, with the turnovers and everything, it's been talked about how difficult and complex Quinn's offense is for even the more veteran players. So I'm not surprised that it's taking a little bit of time, especially with the foul trouble and guys being in and out of the lineup. We've got a couple good games, not as difficult portion of the schedule coming up, and hopefully they can continue to improve on what has been, in all, a good past 8 quarters or so. What about
I
you,
would
Marco? Go ahead.
I do. I was gonna ask you this. Like during the first game of the season against the Raptors, do you think it's fair to say that the Hawks were playing too fast? Somewhat. I know that may sound like kind of weird, but I felt like they were like trying to like keep up the pace too much, and it caused like a whole bunch of those turnovers in the first place, right?
I think what you had was a portion of players who have played a lot of basketball together playing at a certain pace, and a bunch of players who haven't played with that group a step behind them. And
Yeah,
that's why you saw like a turnover where a guy wasn't quite at the spot yet, or he wasn't sure if he should go left or if he should cut to the rim or pop out for three. And you saw a lot of those kind of turnovers. There wasn't a lot of, ball handling, rip turnovers. It was trying to hit guys on the move. And that's the issue. Well, not the issue. That is the give and take of a ball moving offense is generally ball moving offenses are pretty high turnover. So like it's going to happen, especially when you lack the chemistry needed to execute that at a high level. Because I mean, a lot has been said over the years about Trae Young and his turnover issues, but in his first 3 years when it was heliocentric Trae, he was leading the league in turnovers, but the Hawks were always five or bottom five in turnover percentage for a team. Because even though he's turning the ball over, it's not a lot of, you know, his assist turnover ratio is still going to be 2+, whereas everybody else's, if given that usage, is going to be a lot closer to 1. So it's a learning experience, not just for the new guys, but for everybody else, especially with Trae playing a little bit more off ball. And I liked what I saw from it. Like all in all, I just think they just need a couple weeks to figure it out. And I think it'll be fine long term.
Blake,
Yeah,
you want? Oh, my bad. Go
yeah.
ahead,
Sorry,
Blake.
just to add on a little bit to what you were talking about with the Raptors. The vibe that I kind of got in the building, and Marco could add on to this too, but Quinn was he seemed to be a little bit frustrated visibly as the game was going on. That first half, they were playing behind, but they were still within range. I think they got it to 6 in the first half at
Yeah,
halftime. But it felt and seemed like they were pressing a little bit. Home opener, they didn't want, I mean, nobody wants to lose, but it felt like, the Raptors were really getting downhill in the half court setting. Leon mentioned they were close to 90 points in the paint. It seemed like the Hawks were kind of pressing. They saw, what they were giving up on defense. They're like, we just, at this point, we just need a bucket. And it felt like they were kind of rushing a lot of their offensive sets. That first quarter, so it didn't really seem like they were running anything they ran in preseason. It was kind of just drive, kick, same thing here and there, come off a screen, roll or pop, and there was really nothing being ran. It was more pickup-esque, but it felt like they were pressing too hard. They were just trying to get a bucket at that point because the lead for the Raptors was extending. But I feel like in 2 weeks span right now, that won't be the case. As we all know, Quinn likes to play fast. Sometimes he likes to play with smaller lineups because he likes that speed, get up and down the floor, get out in transition. But yeah, I mean, I'm not as worried about the offense. Turnovers do have to cut down. But like Leon was mentioning in that Magic game, something to keep an eye on, Trae had one turnover. Trae had one turnover that whole game, which was something that was very refreshing to see. I think somebody had 3, and there were a few that had 3 turnovers and 2 turnovers, but your main ball handler had 1. For me, I think that's a main reason why they were able to come back in that game and stay within distance the entire, because they were playing behind the whole game, but they kept it within a range where they could, roll lineups out there with Asa and Mo and these other pieces to where they could crawl back from the bench. But Trae having one turnover kept them in the game the entire of the night.
Let's go to you, Marco, because it's been a minute. Sorry about that. You're good.
Oh no, it's cool. It's cool. First 3 games overall,
Yeah.
it's the first 3 games. Like you couldn't have asked for I don't know, playing OKC off of back to back with Orlando. That's literally like the worst outcome you could have early in the season, especially with us already losing Jalen, well, Jalen played against Orlando, but we lost Jalen with OKC. You lost Zach and KP for both of those games. So, it was
The entire
thankfully
starting front court injured.
we went 1-2. Like that was probably the best outcome out of that situation, that we went 1-2. Sucks to say, but only concerns I see so far right now is rebounding. Like Leon said, rebounding is a very real issue right now. Especially once you lose. Gets even worse when you lose Jalen and KP. So, 2 good rebounders on your team. So that is a real issue right now, especially in the Toronto game. It was a lot of one-on-one chance balls. And Toronto, they really were group rebounding a lot. Seeing it in the arena, they were very much it was at least 3 people going for the board. So even if one person tipped it up, they had 2 other people to try to get the ball versus R1. I think a lot of our rebounding issues can be solved by, just trying to group rebound a little bit more. And, also like Leon said as well, losing Dyson, who's an excellent rebounder at the guard. That'll also help a bit more, but just trying to group rebound a little bit more will definitely help us in the long run. Don't really try to leave it to chance on especially on crucial plays. And some plays we were just straight lazy or not really trying to go after the ball. It'd be times that certain players would just watch the ball just go straight into the other opponent's hand, or just times that they'll see a ball that they can easily run after and they're relying on it to go out of bounds. And at a young age, you're taught not to just let the ball go out of bounds. If you have a chance, just don't leave it up to the ref. So just stuff we can fix as we go on. Like I said, it's only 3 games. Transition defense is also an issue right now, but that's another easy fix, because a lot of our transition defensive issues is that once one person shoots the ball, I know we've been a decent offensive rebounding team in the past, but that's when we had a Clint Capella. So don't really know how the newer guys will mesh well with that. But a lot of like I said, a lot of our defensive transitional issues are just because we just watch the shot go and we're not really getting back. Like, most teams like Orlando, once a shot was up, maybe one person stayed back, 1 or 2 stayed back, the rest are already back. So you got 3 back while 2 might secure something. It's just, you have that fail safe. If you don't get the offense rebound, you have 3 guys that can get back and still set up a defense, and you have 2 guys back that can stop the ball, like slow down the ball handler, and you allow that 4th guy to get back and try to get set or whatever. So that's just like it's easy fix. It's not really too crazy, not really too worried about anything. I think we've had some good looks. You can question rotations you want. Again, 3 games. I'm not really trying to get too deep into rotational talks. You can question some of those. Think you just got guys that got to just get used to the offense, like Kennard. He's been a bit shy on shooting the ball. I think once Quinn can finally get the offense in his head of what we want Kennard to do, then I think a lot of this offense opened up.
You can save the thoughts on Kennard later. We're gonna talk about him.
Hey, I ain't got too much to say on him. Just
listen.
But look,
he's controversial, man.
He is. But yeah, like I said, it's 3 games. I'm not really too not really too crazy. You got 3 games that are coming up that are very winnable on the road. Your first road trip of the season as well, too. So, you have a chance to really get your offense right. Hopefully you get the whole team back tomorrow. Well, it'll be, I don't know when you plan on releasing this episode, but I guess today, you got a chance to really try to run some actual sets, and it's whatever. What about you, Chris?
Well, I was expecting a slow start to the season. I ended the last episode asking for patience because this is a new group, right? I think the Hawks' average age is 23. And they've kind of reworked most of the roster over the last couple seasons. You brought in some vets, but the thing about vets is they've been playing a certain way, especially guys like Luke, who'd been in the same place for a while, and Nah, who finally got some consistency in Minnesota. Now they're being asked to do new things in a new offense. So you've seen Nah kind of hit the ground running. He's been really aggressive. I think he's kind of picking it up, and Luke is taking some time to adjust. So there's some issues there, and those two are a big part of your shooting on the perimeter. I think you're expecting them to handle the ball and take big shots for this team, and Luke hasn't really gotten there yet. You brought in KP, but now he's absent for a couple games. It's a little frustrating because you want all these games to get like the reps down. But I think to face the adversity they have on and off the court through the first 3 games with guys coming in and out of the rotation, young guys getting thrown on the floor and against good teams that have been together for a few years now. I think you got to take that as a dub, man. I think you're on the road against a rival and you were able to beat them. It's big for division. OKC, you probably chalk that up as a loss anyway. You wanted to be a little bit more competitive, but kind of got away from you in the third quarter. Let go of the rope. But you're missing 3 starters, so I think anything that's not like a major blowout is probably a success internally. But I don't think the team is necessarily happy, but I think where they are right now, you're probably feeling relieved, right? You got through those 3 games, and now you have a chance to kind of get some momentum going. So I think they played hard, right? And Mo, Asa really showed up, and to be thrown into the season this early, I don't know that they were expecting to play heavy minutes this early in the season. So them hitting big shots it feels good. I know everyone's got to be excited about that. To see those guys kind of contributing this soon. Veet finally got back on the floor, and hopefully Quinn kind of like remembers he's a good basketball player. So I think they can figure some things out as long as they're hitting shots. And now you may have found a couple of new players that can kind of add to that depth. You just want the guys to get healthy. It sucks that you brought in all these new pieces, and one of the biggest ones has been out for 2 of the first 3 games. So hopefully KP and Jalen can get back on the floor, and they can really kind of take that success against Orlando and kind of build on that, because I think they played a really smart game, like to Blake's point, right, Trey, with only 1 turnover against a team that has given him a lot of grief in the past. They're really physical, and they can throw big guards at him all game. And to get out of that one, I think they were making some smart decisions. And I don't know that they played dumb or anything against OKC, because the turnovers, I don't know that the difference was too crazy there. And that's a team that can really turn you over. But I think OKC is just a good team, and it got away from you. But you got some games here where you can get some momentum going and really get going for the season. So I'm excited after the first 3. You got one more win than I thought we were going to get.
Thank you for that, Chris. I'm going to try and be measured in my thoughts on the season so far, since apparently I can't overreact, since I've been accused of overreacting too much. But if you had to ask me on a scale to like 1 to 10 about if I'm like how worried I am about the Hawks right now, I would say like a 4. I think for me, I have some questions about Quinn and the rotations that he's doing, how certain players are being, used somewhat. I'll go into more detail, I guess, as we go on here. I think some issues like the transition defense, I think that could be like improved over time, especially as Porzingis, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Luke Kennard like get used to the team and stuff. Since last year the transition defense was pretty good, and then all of a sudden like it's just terrible right now. I don't think this team is honestly gonna be that bad this year, right? And I think the offense is probably gonna be really good this year as well because we've seen flashes of it already, but it's just right now it's just not clicking. But that's okay. It's still like really early. There's still 70 plus games yet left. The rebounding is going to be a problem, I think, throughout the season. And I think you may have to play people like Ace Newell more simply because even though they are rookies, the fact that he's such a good offensive rebounder may just help this team a lot, honestly, especially in like things like transition stuff. Also, I am absolutely shocked that Muhammad Gay was not in this rotation day one. That is just baffling to me, but he's probably in it now. So, but yeah, that's just generally my thoughts. Basically, I'm not super worried about the Hawks until like they mess up badly. But like everyone else said, these next 4 games are I think going to be really interesting to see where they're going to be at. And also another thing to mention, the Hawks did play like 2 of the best defenses in the NBA, which also does not help them at all with them like trying to get like used to everything and stuff. So yeah, overall, I think I'm not like super duper worried right now. Generally, it's just going to take time. So October may just be a complete wash right now. So I do want to actually talk more about like the rotations and like maybe certain criticisms people may have had like during that whole time, because I know if you've been on Twitter and stuff and you guys are on there and you hear the spaces, people have been like yelling fire Quinn, getting incredibly angry about Quinn, oh my God, playing Keith Wallace, how Kennard's being used. I'll just start with you, Chris. What's your general thoughts on this stuff? Because I mean, it's only 3 games in the season, and it's like Luke Kennard, people already put him on the trade list already. So, make sure I mute yourself.
It's kind of complicated this early in the season, right? Because you don't want to be reactionary coming out of training camp, like in a 82 game sport when you're like, you just worked on all these rotations and like you get into a game and it's not going well. You don't want to just throw that plan away, because especially you're trying to like build some consistency with this group.
Yeah.
You want them to kind of get good at what you've been working on. So when guys aren't playing well early, it's easy for fans to want people to get tossed to the side. And don't get me wrong, in the moment, I understand it, right? Like you want the best players on the floor. For me, it's more the decision of who they're playing. I wasn't a big fan of Keaton really being in the rotation over Veet coming into the season. I know he got a contract this year, and maybe they're trying to see what he can bring to the team right now. Now that they're giving him some more real money early, but before you get to like, now we need these games, so we're going to shorten this bench and get our guys in. So I think Keaton's getting some run in minutes he probably shouldn't. So I understand people being upset about that. I'm a Veet guy openly. I want him to be that extra guard coming off the bench, wing-ish player. And yeah, so I understand people being mad about that. And then Luke, the threes, it's really weird. You want him to just get him up, but psychologically, whoever he is as a player, right? This is something Grizzlies fans have talked about. They said he's a guy that doesn't shoot sometimes. And coming from Bogey to Luke is very different, because Bogey would get him up in
I think
through
that's
contest.
the thing that people like me and other people thought we were getting from Luke. We thought we were getting Bogey again.
Yeah. Yeah. And
But we
Bogey's
aren't.
unconscious. Bogey
Yeah.
will take the no dips. You're coming out. Bogey shot. I think there was one season Bogey shot better on contested threes than he did like on open threes.
Yeah.
Almost, because he's just like thrives on that. And if Luke can try to get there, hopefully he does try to get there. You're on an expiring contract, right? This is almost a semi-prove it deal to see if like the team wants to keep you around for another couple years, right? He's in that like almost 30. You really want to get another good deal. So hopefully he can kind of adjust to what we need from him. And Quinn kind of talked about it. I think David Lee asked a question about getting Luke involved, and he talked about maybe scheming up some set plays for him, some things that are more orchestrated, because they are trying to play a lot of that random ball that everybody wants to play, right? Where it's a lot of reads and taking what the defense gives you. And when you take what the defense gives you, as a guy like Luke, they're not going to give you the three, right? So sometimes you just gotta take it. So you got to be more intentional with how you create them. Hopefully that's something that they can talk about over the next day or so and get that going. Well, the game's tomorrow, so hopefully they were talking about it today, about ways to get Luke involved and more comfortable on the floor. I do think Quinn had a good point about guys driving and kind of getting the action going early so that Luke can be on the backside and get those threes that he's comfortable with. Hopefully now with Dyson playing his going into like, I'm going to call it his third game because he basically missed the first one when it was competitive. If he can get going downhill, Na's been doing a good job driving. If these guys can kind of do their part on ball, then hopefully Luke can find some space off ball and get some shots that he's good with. You don't want to get crazy and like yank people out of the rotation, but when you got guys playing well like Mo and Asa right now, I do want to see them kind of get carved out like smaller roles, and that's how NBA is, man. You get on the floor, right? You get your opportunity, you make some big plays, and that's how you get more minutes. So Mo is definitely a guy that I hope they kind of. I had him at 8 minutes or something, 6 minutes or something like that before the season. So we can bump that up 16, 12, 16 night to night. I think you need a real four behind Jalen. That's a guy who's as productive as like forwards can get in terms of defensive playmaking. The rebounding has been big. He gets his hands on the ball constantly, and he's got really good instincts, timing, and all that. And now it's kind of shown up on the offensive side. He's got a lot of confidence to get shots up. So it's a player that hopefully Quinn is comfortable deploying more and more. Where those minutes come from is a tougher question, especially when you have a lot of vets and some limitations in terms of ball handling. The lineup isn't as versatile as you would want it to be. Like if Jalen was more established as a ball handler, then maybe you feel really good moving into that three, and then kind of just playing Mo at the four. But until Jalen gets there, you got to kind of you figure it out. And hopefully Quinn figures it out. That's why he gets paid the big bucks. I'm not saying that he's necessarily playing the best guys at all times, right? I'm not saying the rotations have been perfect. The one thing I have been saying consistently, we're going to find out how aligned the GM and the coach are, because Ansi might think that Quinn has everything he needs to have the size on the floor, right, to compete every night. And Quinn might be saying, I don't have what I need to do that. And if they disagree, then, decisions have to be made eventually.
Hold on, where are you saying?
I'm just saying that Ansi put together a roster that he has expectations for. I think Tony has expectations. The media has expectations. Quinn has expectations, and he's vocalized like, right, this is a team that thinks they're going to be good. So if Quinn doesn't think he has the right pieces and Ansi does, then GMs do tend to pick their own guys. So we'll see if Ansi is Quinn's guy or if Quinn is Ansi's guy over the next season or so. Because I think Quinn's been here for a while now, and I think everyone in the organization is probably counting wins. And I think there's a lot of pressure, and I think you can kind of see it with how they've been playing. First game they were pressing. I think Dyson's been pressing with the contract, right? You got guys trying to get paid. This team's trying to decide if they're going to go for it or not. So I think Quinn is probably going to have to be more creative and adaptable than he has been in years past, because I think they are counting wins this year. So we'll see how that rotation, how things get settled. Like, I think Veet showed that he should be playing more minutes for this team. I think Mo showed he should be playing, and Ace showed he should be playing it. And I don't know that Keaton showed that he should have his minutes. I'm okay with sticking with Luke Kennard for a little bit longer, but I think that Quinn has some decisions to make for sure. But I'm okay with seeing what these guys can do for a few more games.
I'm going to go to you, Marco. What do you think about the rotation questions generally so far about this team?
Rotation, Quinn is gonna always. I like to call Quinn not even experimental. Quinn does things that he knows he physically has to see it in order to finally get it in his head. Like in his head, he very much thought that Kennard Keaton was like a good pairing, and so he had to see it to realize it does not really work like he wanted to. I personally believe Keaton should not be getting minutes over Veet, just because Keaton is more of a ball stopper in my opinion, and he is not a primary point guard. He's more of a shooting guard because he clearly wants to go out there and score. He's not really trying to run an offense. He wants to let that thing fly. So I do feel like that was my one questionable rotation piece from him early on in the season. I'm like, Veet, on the other hand, likes to move the ball. His 3-point shot has gotten a lot better. Veet is a very good decision maker. So I feel like, and he's a decent defender for what we need him to do at that juncture, and she'll have help in the back line to where I can believe in Veet playing better minutes. But I do believe the rotations. I don't have a real critique of the rotations now. I'm as bad as the how losing KP and Jalen this early on. It showed us that Mo 100% needs to be playing, especially with rebound woes we're having already early in the season. He's a good rebounder. He does the dirty things, like when he fell on the floor, got the loose ball, immediately called timeout. A lot of young players don't do that. They probably won't even dive on the floor. So for Mo to actually get on the floor, get down there with Orlando, get nitty, and call that timeout, that's a veteran play. So he showed he at least deserves some minutes at that backup four. And Asa was, I know, like Chris said, I know Asa didn't really expect to play this many minutes this early in the season, because you're a rookie. A lot of us expected him to go straight into College Park. We didn't really expect him to get some rotation right now. Probably post All-Star break is when I had him coming like into fruition in the rotation some. But Asa being a better rebounder than I really projected. Like, he had his first double-double against OKC, and I think 7 of those 10 boards were offensive boards. So that's big from a rookie. And no matter how you try to be.
Sorry to interrupt you. It's only 2 games. This is an extremely small sample size. He's shooting 66% from 3.
That's another thing. Asa not scared to let that thing fly.
That's insane. That is insane.
If I'm Kennard, I'm taking that as disrespect.
I couldn't believe that. Like, they would think that was gonna happen when we drafted him. Like, I mean, that's like crazy.
I believed in the shot. He's had a good shot mechanics, but even still, he just going out there letting that thing fly, and that's Asa's confidence for a rookie is big, because he's trying to dunk on people. He's trying to go up. He's trying to play like he's been in the league. So I do think Veet, Mo, and Asa has earned them some minutes. It's going to be hard trying to get Mo and Asa in at times, unless you just want to play one or the other over then Folly Dante, and it's just a thing. But having multiple bigs that can help to some degree gives a little extra rest advantage for like KP or Jalen, like especially games where you can rest them just a little bit more. They don't have to really play their full minute gap. They can just little stopgap here and there. Like you said, you give Mo about 16. Mo should be back up 4, especially with that. If you want to keep running, that Trey and Kennard, you're going to need double bigs. So
Yeah.
you're going to need Mo out
100%.
there. You're going to need Jalen and Cape. You're going to need double bigs at all
See,
times.
I'm gonna have a hot take, honestly.
Oh,
Well, not really a hot take, I feel like, but when the full rotation is healthy, I don't think Veit or Keaton should honestly ever touch the floor. Period.
well, good thing it's not your turn to talk. Anyways,
I mean, how's that? No. Here's the thing.
It's not your turn. You don't have the talking stick. It's not your turn to talk.
Okay.
It's not your turn to talk.
You're right. Go ahead. You're right.
Damn.
Okay.
I wanted to use that bullshit, man. Anyways, Veit should very much touch the floor. I think we got some guys, I don't know why Veit didn't get first minutes over Keaton either. Like if Keaton getting that contract deterred that to some degree. I personally don't believe Keaton should got that contract either. But I think Toppin very much deserves that contract over him. But that's a whole different subject for what we can talk about that later down the line.
Trust. It's about trust, Marcel.
I get what I said last episode. Like, yeah, he's familiar with the system, blah blah blah. But
Keaton paid his dues, dog.
And look, man, he paid for that chip too. But right now rotation is too early in the season for me to really critique the rotation because Quinn is clearly still being a funny guy. Like I said, he has to physically see the matchup in his head.
He's always been a funny guy, Marco.
Before he sees
he's
that
always
it's not
been
working.
a funny guy. He's always been a funny guy. You're laughing right now.
Because
I'm
looking at
he's been
Chris,
a funny guy.
Because look, he has to see that lineup does not work. And look, hopefully he's learned that Mo and at least Mo and Veit need to be in that bench rotation some degree, somehow, some shape or form.
See,
I've said my piece. Now let's go to Blake.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Blake. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Veit needs minutes. And Marco, what you were talking about, he's not going to be running an offense. I completely agree. But I think one thing that he does well is he makes the right decisions with his passes. He makes some good passes at times. He wants to shoot the ball. I think his three's gotten better continuously every year he's been with Atlanta. But one thing that I really haven't seen been mentioned on Twitter anywhere is the rebounding without Clint Capella. I think that's something that not only the roster is trying to get used to, I think Quinn is trying to adjust his offense with that. If you go back to the Utah days, he had Rudy Gobert. Every year he's been in Atlanta so far, he's had Clint. So Quinn's pretty used to having a inside big that can anchor down and grab your rebounds. So I think it's going to take a little bit of time for Quinn to get used to that completely. But another thing with the roster, they're not used to all of them needing to crash the boards on offense because at times you've had Clint down there, just that's his main job because if he got the ball to put it up, he was going to miss the layup. But I think that's part of the reason why the rebounding's been not to where we need it or we kind of expect it. Is I think they're kind of taking it for granted. I think they really need to crash the boards. And Marco, you pointed it out. Great point. It seemed like they're in the arena. Toronto had at least 2 or 3 crashing the boards nonstop all game long. So I think that'll eventually come around. But go back to the rotations. I don't really agree with Keaton. I just don't see how an offense is going to be competent in the NBA when you have Keaton Wallace running the point and Dyson Daniels having to sit corner. It's just, for me, I don't think Keaton should have gotten that guaranteed deal. College Park, I think, would be his better fit. I think Jacob Toppin would be better on that guaranteed deal because the Hawks do need another wing. And, Chris, to touch on what you were talking about with Veet, I feel like he is kind of a hybrid where he can play that 2 guard as a taller guard, or he could play the 3 because of his height. But he provides some defense, some on ball defense as well. But he some offense as well. For me, I think Keaton being your main person at times on the floor running the offense, I think that is priority number one that you've got to fix. And it's been kind of hard. It was hard last night because you didn't have Jalen Johnson. He's your main facilitator off the bench. That unit is going to be ran through him at times. Not having him was definitely hard. It was going to put it on Keaton most of the time, especially with Zach and KP out. But to touch on Luke Kennard, for me, I mentioned it, I believe it was opening night. For me, I want to see them try to get some shots set up for him, to where he can get them up, see him go in, get some of that confidence to where then he's not as hesitant. Because I feel like coming to a new system and then wanting him to do this, that, and the other is kind of, I don't want to say unrealistic, but it's not, it's just not as fair to him. For me, I feel like if we can get him some open looks, or just, some semi-open looks to where he can, get it up, see it go in, I think that'll be beneficial to him, help the confidence. And as we saw with Bogey, he was letting it fly whether it was going in or not. He was getting up 9 threes a game regardless. I think that one stretch 2 years ago, he went like 1 for, I don't know, his last 14 threes or something, yet he was still firing them. But yeah, I think Luke's just gonna take some time to coming around, for him figuring out where he needs to be on the floor at times. I think that he's a little hesitant right now. And honestly, seeing him come off these screens in the Toronto game, I feel like he had some openings where he could have shot the ball, but he didn't. So I feel like he just needs to be more aggressive because, he's number 4 on the all-time 3-point percentage?
Yeah.
It's
basically.
Yeah. He knows it can shoot. We all know he can
actually,
shoot.
right now he's number 5 behind Asa Newell, who is clearly number 1 right now.
Hey, Asa, the 3 looks legit. I think last night he had one catch and shoot was with a hand in his face. That was that was definitely a sight to see. But I feel like rotations eventually will get to a point where they're pretty solidified. But Mo and Asa, they're going to get to a point where if they keep this up, they're going to force Quinn's hand, regardless of who's out or who's in on the injury report. But it's I don't really know what we're going to do with Keaton. And he's viable. You could have him out there as your backup point guard. It's just you're not going to really do anything if he's who is running the offense. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens these next 3 games if Jalen, Zach, and KP are back, because I know they made the road trip. So we'll see what the rotations are. Hopefully we have everybody back this upcoming road trip.
What's your general thoughts on the rotation questions people have, Leon?
I think 3 games in, it's really hard to give a definitive answer to that. I believe after game 1, my main thought of the Keaton minutes was, okay, Dyson went down with foul trouble, went out with foul trouble, and we need somebody to apply some pressure on ball as a defender. And that's why I thought he got a lot of minutes in that game. And then he played against Orlando, firmly a part of the rotation. And then, KC, he played firmly a part of the rotation, obviously down more guys. I guess I would have to think that it's a trust thing. He's proved that to the coaching staff that he should get these minutes in training camp and in practice. So that's who's getting the minutes right now. If he continues or does continue to perform at a certain level, that's being a really good energy guy defensively. And I think another thing is when you don't have a lot of sides at the three, especially with Zach out, you can't really play guards that are bad on defense. You have to play guards who are good on defense. And that's at the very least what Keaton is. He can get his own shot late clock. It might not be the best shot of all time, but I think he can get to a shot. He can hit an open three in the corner, in the slot, at the top of the key when it's kicked out to him. And I think, obviously, like we've said before, I think the main idea of the second unit is Jalen runs it to a degree. And I think in a system where that is the main goal, he's fine in that role. I think I still would prefer that 15 spot to have gone to Jacob Toppin because of how thin we are at the three. But then I would agree that there are some questions about ball handling in the second unit. I wouldn't argue with that. But it gives you a little bit of optionality. Obviously, I think on the flip side, Keaton probably couldn't be on a two-way again, or maybe this was his last year available. I think you can only be on.
I think it may have been the last time he could have been on a two-way. So.
Yeah, so I think maybe that might have had something to do with it. Try to keep him in the building vibes. Not playing Mo in game one, I don't really understand that against a big physical team. I mean, I guess maybe you didn't want him guarding Scotty Ball. I don't know. You couldn't rebound. You couldn't get back in transition defense. And he, while not a great rebounder, you got to put a body on him. Like, if he doesn't get rebounds in a game, 9 times out of 10, it's because it's not as if they're not accounting for him on the boards. Like, they're putting a body on him, and that gives other guys an opportunity to get rebounds. So, yeah, it's like, being down 2 starters game 2, 3 starters game 3. It's hard to parse out what's really going on with the rotation, if we're being honest. But to play Mo 30 minutes in a game where you needed him was commendable. I mean, I'm happy that they did it. Obviously, Jalen ended up with 5 fouls, and he was in foul trouble early. Moji came in and gave some spark. Both sides of the ball. Asa Newell looks really good so far. Obviously, defensively, it's going to take some time. The speed of the game is a lot different, not only in college basketball, but especially the speed that he played at Georgia. They played a very slow game. Wasn't a lot of pace. But it's clear that he's going to be a guy. He kind of does look very much Gen Z John Collins, hitting threes, playing with energy, dunking the ball, communicating. Probably going to take a little time to figure it out on defense. Probably a little bit of a more fluid athlete. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out as guys get more healthy. But as of right now, my only complaint, if I was to give one, would be that I've seen too much Keaton Wallace on my screen. Yeah. Go Hawks.
Like, for me, I think I don't want to make Keaton Wallace a scapegoat or anything, because I don't think it's necessarily his fault, but it's just I wish more of the ball handling duties in the second unit and stuff was to go to Luke Kennard, how I originally envisioned, I guess, instead of Keaton. But then again, everyone's injured, so you can't really do that right now. And
can we trade him for his brother?
I wish, but nope.
Not the way Kaysen playing.
Yeah. And with Veet, my thing is that the offense is good, but his defense is just it's bad. He's just a really bad defender right now, and it's the reason why I'm just against playing Veet at all right now generally, unless he just improves considerably as a defender. They're for the most part, and that's why I just for me, if they're just healthy, it's just, the main 5 starters, Luke, who else I forgot? Mikel, Onyeka, and just Mo, and that's probably gonna be it, because I don't really see any reason why like someone like Beat would even be playing because of his defense. Because I mean, you saw it like the Raptors game. Did he play against the Raptors? I think he did. And then in OKC, like they're just going right past him to the rim, just over and over again. So it's just I just don't want to like just deal with that, especially with some of these teams coming up where they're just gonna be just doing the same thing in transition over and over and over again. So that's just me. That's just my personal opinion. I know y'all are Beat fans, but I'm sorry I had to like put Beat down like that. So, but I do actually want to go into like, since I did mention like some of these next few games coming up. Let's talk about our predictions and like some potential thoughts on these upcoming next 4 games. And it's gonna be a 4-game road trip. So the next 4 games are gonna be at Chicago against the Bulls on October 27th on Monday. At Brooklyn against the Nets on Wednesday, October 29th. At Indiana against the Pacers October 31st on Halloween Friday, and Cleveland against Cavaliers Sunday, November 2nd. So that's 4 games. We're 1-2 right now. I'm gonna start with you, Marco. What's your potential thoughts on this road trip, and what do you think the record could potentially be?
Well, Chicago is a very winnable game, even though they're first in the East right now as early season standings. And Getty's also questionable with a finger. He's one guy that somehow likes to do us in every year. I think we have a real chance, a real shot at being 5-2 after this road trip. That might just be the optimistic fan in me talking, or that might just be how you look at it. Now, I'm not saying this will be a light road trip, because Hawks have a tendency of playing down to their opponents. So if you can set the tone against the teams you're supposed to beat, like Chicago, like if you can actually play your brand of basketball and actually get out there, hoop, do what you need to do, should be easy dub. Pacers will still be an issue without Halliburton, because Siakam can do a lot by himself. I don't know how the rest of the team has panned out with injuries
For
or
some
anything yet.
reason, they're still trying to play through their guards like they have Halliburton on the team, so, which is why they
Yeah.
currently are winless.
Yeah, so it'll still be a tough game, because they did, take the champs to another 2 overtime. So still a tough team. Cleveland will always be a tough matchup for us. We fair. If you have a full healthy team, then of course that lessens the burden some. Just seeing, because the Cavs are no starting small forward right now. Is Garland back yet? Does anybody know that?
No, but Dre played
No.
today.
Yeah.
Dre played.
Old pal DeAndre Hunter.
Oh, that means he'll be resting our game. That's too much on that knee. I feel like, but like I
The
said,
game is a week away. Like, yo.
That's too much on that knee, man. But you got a real chance to come out 5-2, and if you come out 5-2, and Quinn can stop being a silly guy, and we can at least stay healthy for
Oh my God,
majority of these games on this stretch, you have a good chance of being out 5-2.
you're gonna be saying fire Quinn in like 2 weeks, man.
Look, I'm only gonna say fire Quinn if
Why
Keaton
would we
Keaton
be
get a
saying
minute.
fire Quinn in 2 weeks if we're gonna be 12-2 in 2 weeks? Like, what's wrong with this guy?
12-2
my
would be
God, okay.
crazy, but I'm gonna go to you, Chris.
5-2 is very bold. I wanted to get to 3-3. That was my goal after the first 3 games. Coming into the season, I didn't look at the schedule really seriously until the games were about to start, and I was like, Toronto, then Orlando and OKC back to back. I was like, man, we about to lose 3 games to start the season. I was like, let me see what's next. And then I saw Chicago, Brooklyn, Indiana without Hallie, and Indiana without Hallie, and I'm like, that's chances to run your offense right and to really get going. And I think this team needs some chances to get the offense like hot, so they know what that feels like, and get the timing down, and just feel good. Like once you feel good, it's easier. So some teams that aren't gonna just beat them up the way the Magic and Thunder really are, I think, right on time. I definitely, you at worst, you want to go 2-1 in this next stretch. Next 3 games, the Pacers they're playing like respectable ball-ish. But I mean, they're a well-coached team. They do have some talent. Matherin's scoring a lot for them to kind of pick up some slack there. But they got some injuries, I think. So I think Kobe White's out for the Bulls. The Nets are just awful. So I think 2-1, 3-0 in that stretch is reasonable. And then the 4th game, like, it's just a lot of games to win in a row for this team. And we're so young, and it's like almost just playing the odds to say we don't go 4-0 in this stretch. Now that would really impress me. I think it's just early in the season, and you still have some guys coming back from injury. I'm not sure exactly when Jalen and KP will play. Zach, his ankle was the only one I actually saw, and that one, if he's missed a couple games, I was worried that he might miss a couple more, just the way it looked. And just precautions. It's so early in the season, you don't want to tweak it again and miss a bunch of games because of how valuable he is. So it's almost like take it now, so you don't like get ruined later in the season. So I'm hoping Zach.
Did we lose, Chris?
Yeah, okay. I thought it was just me. Okay.
Like, you couldn't have froze at a different frame.
But-
My fault. I do want to
Yeah,
point
go
out some
ahead.
things. That Pacer game will be a cup game, and the month of
Because
November. Oh, you're back.
Okay.
Yeah, I think everybody disappeared for a second.
No,
But I think getting that Magic win kind of validated that. Like, you competed with a really good team, a team that people expect to. Some people have the Magic winning the East, top 3 in the East. So taking them down before you're actually like in the flow and without being fully healthy, I think was big. So if you can just get healthy in the stretch, man, I think you can come out of this with a winning record. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I could see 3-1.
Gotcha.
Before
Like Marco said, the Pacers game is an NBA Cup game.
Month, and I want to add this: the month of November is actually very favorable for us. Surprisingly,
yeah,
like that's actually very favorable because the majority of it is cup games, and we're in kind of one of the weaker groups. But you got some. You're going to have some comp, but there's like winnable comp games. It's not like OKC. But yeah, whoever wants to go next, go ahead.
let's go to Blake.
Yeah, I think 3-1 is very, very reasonable. Chicago, Getty's questionable with the finger. Kobe White is out; he's already been ruled out. But if Getty's out, there is no excuse not to win that game. Bulls just don't have much. But Nets are going to be the Nets. Cam Thomas dropped 40 today, and they lost. It's just a dumpster fire over there. But the Pacers, as Marco and Chris mentioned, Siakam is, he tends to give the Hawks a little bit of trouble, and I think he always will. So, that's something that they'll have to game plan for. Hopefully that game they have Jalen, because I would feel much more comfortable with Jalen on Siakam. But, I guess we'll see then. But, the Cleveland, they're a tough matchup. But the Hawks tend to play them pretty well. Usually. So we'll see how that goes. No Garland that is probably something to keep an eye on. But they tend to play the Cavs pretty well, which don't really understand. But we'll see. I would be more than pleased with a 3-1 road trip coming home for the Magic on November 4th. If you could somehow go 4-1 in these next 5, that's all you can ask. You couldn't ask for much more. 5-0 obviously, but it's. I think this is a good opportunity to build some confidence, not only for internally in the organization, but the fan base as well. None of us are pressing the panic button. It's not even crossed our minds yet, but I've been to the last 3 home openers. This has by far been the most attended one that I've seen. The place was packed.
What was the reaction after the game was over?
A lot of people had left, to be quite honest with you. Yeah. It was when it got like 27 or whatever it was in the 4th, people were piling out of there. But there were quite a few people at Tip. It was for a Wednesday night. Obviously it's the home opener, but you could tell the fan base was excited for this roster. It was kind of crazy what kind of crowd they had. Even the 200 levels were packed. But
nice.
Build confidence for your roster, your Quinn, but get the fan base out of whatever the rut that they're in. Going 0-2 at home to start the year and being blown out both games is not ideal, but just a kind of a stinker of a game opening night, and then Thursday or the Thunder, excuse me. That's you're never gonna expect to win that game. But go 3-1, work on your offense a little bit, get some looks for guys. And one thing that I'm excited for is if they can build some leads late in this game, get a 20-point win or something, let Luke go out there, get some confidence, run some of these younger guys, run Asa, run Mo, get Luke out there, get him some more minutes, get him, feel of the offense, things like that. We'll see. I think Cleveland will be their next big test. So kind of hoping that, we can get 3 wins just in case, but we'll see.
All right. What do you think, Leon?
I'm gonna go for a 2-2, mainly because I don't know what these guys' health looks like. Tomorrow, the Hawks are gonna be playing the Bulls, who are kind of young, kind of inexperienced, but they've got some young vets on the team as well. If Getty and Kobe White don't play, I think I'd pencil in a win, but without Zach and Jalen and Kristaps, knowing that Vooch will be out there, and we know the trouble that he gives Onyeka. Even they've got Noah Sang, who is a rookie, but we don't really have anybody who I think can match up with him physically coming off the bench unless we're playing Mo on him, and Mo will foul him. And or Asa Newell, who probably will also foul him because he is a free throw rate merchant. I do worry about, those are starting forwards. Without them, we get very thin and very small very quickly. So, if Zach doesn't come back this week, I would probably be pretty happy with 2-2. Same thing with Jalen. I think that when you look at the Nets, like just realistically, Dyson's probably going to be on Cam Thomas, but if Dyson's on Cam Thomas, like who's guarding Michael Porter Jr. if Zach's not available? No.
No, he's just gonna shoot over it.
Mo G, baby.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, Mo Mania. But like the injuries, like you can see how the injuries are going to hurt us in these matchups against teams that aren't very good because they do have players who can put the ball in the hoop. Still think we should be able to score on them pretty easily. But it's one of those things where if they both get hot, anything can happen. If we, have a cold stretch, all of a sudden they go up by 10. We don't have enough to come back. So I think the Pacers, like Chris said, are still a very well-coached team, and they do have an NBA champion on their roster, all NBA power forward. And if we don't, again, we don't have the guys who can match up. It could be those could be long nights, especially considering for these next 4 games, we will be on the road. So, if everybody comes back tomorrow and everybody looks good, I'd be very comfortable saying 4-0 because I'm not super scared of the Cavs. I think we match up very well with them still to this day, especially since they don't have like a dominant scoring wing. And if DG's out, it's going to be the Donovan Mitchell show on ball. And I think that's not a good, I think that plays right into our hands. That's not a very good recipe for them to not have a second ball handler on the floor who's experienced. But, that game's a week away, so I don't know how far DG is from playing. And the net, I already said what I said about the Nets and the other teams we play. But, you're 1-2 right now. I think whenever you go on a road trip and you're a team that's not, favorites or, title contenders, I think a lot of people have us in that tier, in that fringe tier, very close to contending at the moment. When you go on a road trip, you want to go 2-2, or you want to at least be 500 on that trip. So I'm going to say 2-2 for now. Tomorrow night, I might sound differently when that pregame injury report comes out.
For me, I'm gonna say 2-2 as well. I think it's just gonna. Okay.
Tomatoes.
Oh, I think it's just gonna take like some time for like some things for this team to gel, like things like the transition defense and stuff that I mentioned before. I think it's just gonna take a minute for the Hawks to like really figure those things out. And it may like for certain games, I think for like Chicago, especially because they like to run a lot. I think it could potentially, it would not surprise me at all if that game is just ugly and they just get to the rim like constantly. And I'm honestly kind of scared of just thinking about that right now, honestly. But, Kobe White, Josh Giddey's not playing, so it could just be like fine, honestly. So for Hawks, so
Matas time.
Oh my God. Here we
one
go.
thing I want to point out, Leon mentioned Vooch. They are the 8th ranked team in rebounding right now. So be a good test for them to see if they can figure out the rebounding.
It's early.
Yeah, Vooch is balling right now.
Yeah, it's.
He trying to get out of there. He heard the Lakers need a center.
This is not financial advice, but take the over.
But yeah, I think it's gonna just take a minute for like the Hawks to really figure some things out. I think they're gonna win against Cleveland. Indiana, I'm 50-50 about because we have no clue what players are gonna be healthy with Indiana. Brooklyn, I think they're gonna win. Chicago, I have no clue. So yeah, I'm just gonna say 2-2, and they're gonna be like 3-4 by the end of it. So that's not good, but it's better than having like 1 loss and 6 lose. 1 win and 6
coaching
losses.
a 500 team again. Fire Quinn Snyder. We 500 again.
Oh,
7 games into the season.
I mean, you playing
in his 4th year.
You're playing 2 teams that won 60 wins last year and 2 of the finals teams in that stretch.
That's not an excuse. You told me he had his guys.
I
All the
didn't. I never
excuses
said
before
that.
was, yay, he ain't
I
got the
never said that.
guys. He ain't got the guys. Now we got the
In
guys. So
fact,
what's the excuse
I've
now?
said explicitly we don't
That
have.
he doesn't have the guys. Actually. I have said time and time again that he does not have it. You have. You have indeed. But hey, this team is young. This team is growing. I liked what I've seen the last last 8 or so quarters, despite some lapses. The young guys have looked good, especially the bigs. Cedric Howard looks great, by the way, but this is a Hawks podcast, so
Yeah, the young boys coming, man. The young boys.
Yeah.
this draft class, man, wow.
Coming.
But with that, does anyone have any final thoughts before we close this out?
To the fan base, man, calm down, man. Y'all do this every year. We got people on Twitter talking about does Trey even look like he wants to be in Atlanta? Does
Yeah,
Quincy
no,
stay
that-
there?
now-
Every
now,
night,
can I-
bro.
can
It's
I-
every night. It's
Can I just say
quarter.
something? Can I just say something about
Go
this
ahead,
Trey
Lynn.
want to be in Atlanta thing? I mean, the dude just made a song with 2 Chainz and Quavo. He just paid Quavo, and like if you listen, see, here's what y'all don't understand
Oh
about
my
the music
God.
industry. And for y'all in the chat, Frank will tell you. Benjamin Franklin himself will tell you. If it says featuring Quavo and 2 Chainz and Quavo at the game, Quavo said, "Yeah, no, that's Trey Young featuring Quavo and 2 Chainz." That when he said that, that reminded me of what I told you guys already. That means that Trey Young paid full price for those features, and those features aren't cheap.
No,
That's all.
they're not.
Anyways,
Trey
Trey Young wants to be in Atlanta. Trey Young wants to be in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Trey Young wants to be in Atlanta.
I'm about to say, even a report came out saying
It's
they
his
almost like
team.
to find common ground. I mean, no other team is going to treat him like we do. So, but
Definitely.
fan base, just calm down, man. It's 3 games. Y'all act like we played.
Atlanta
all
don't
82
know
games.
calm. Like, I mean, the Falcons doing what they doing. It's hard. It's hard for.
It's hard to be
for
calm. It's
Atlanta
hard to be
Atlanta
calm. It's
fans.
hard to be calm. And I know a
It's
lot
hard
of
to be
y'all,
calm, bro.
are already a little worried about the injury bug. I'm like a 95%
Our entire starting
sure.
front court is out, Marco.
I'm 95% sure they just rested Jalen just to rest it because it wasn't. I think they went in wanting to lose that game.
If
But
Getty
Kristaps
is out
has
tomorrow too,
redacted.
if Getty
Kristaps
is out
has
tomorrow
redacted.
too, I think somebody
Hawks.
might be sitting out.
I'm going to say Ayo snapped on his last game. We played by them, by the way. So
He's liable to.
Yeah, so
He's liable to.
Well, just calm down, man.
He sees red when he faces Trey.
No, I
trying to get out of that, too.
think Nar gonna put some clamps on that, but he's a small forward on our team now, so I guess he won't be guarding.
Big Keaton gonna lock him up, man. Big Keaton.
Big Key.
Big Keaton really gonna lock him down.
Yes, Vic Key. Which one?
Big Key.
I'm really looking forward to see if Zach shows up for this battle with Matas because
Oh my God.
Matas called this man out pre-draft.
Redraft.
Called him out, man. And
He's
that
not trying to see me one-on-one.
you might
It's
think that stuff's not real,
crazy.
and bro, you need to watch these Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green interviews. Like these dudes don't like each other, bro. When you competing for that like top pick, and you think you like that, and somebody else got taken over you, bro. Your whole life is dedicated to ruining that man. So this man
can't run tomorrow, man.
His villain arc might start tomorrow if Zach come in there and just tear Matas up.
Hey, like you said, you know what they say? This is their Super Bowl. Hey, for me and you, Chris.
Bro,
Chris.
he got that thing
this is
circled.
our Super Bowl.
He got that thing circled. Yeah.
My time went to bed early tonight for this shit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With Benny the Bull, in a
fool.
Benny the Bull costume.
Man, he getting a full 16 hours of sleep.
I'm trying to
tonight.
tell you.
He ate a nutritious
Matter
dinner.
of fact, no one modest. Wait, they played today. Did they play today?
No, I don't think so.
No, I think they did.
No.
Oh, so they probably back in Chicago already.
Yeah, man,
If they were on the road, he at the gym right now, bro. He not playing.
No,
he's ready.
He
to
had his
put
high
it
school
on.
gym from back in the day, bro. That's
feel me?
hometown,
He is
bro.
ready to put.
He got his parents coming out.
10, bro. He's ready to put it on 10. I'm telling
He
you.
got Zach picture on the back.
10.
That's his city.
This guy right here. X gonna give it to you.
Like Matas, you putting his face on the shirt. And Matas better not dunk on double O, bro.
I mean, it's probably much a game by game. Like, yeah.
I need
No,
Double
y'all
O.
are
I need
just-
Double
I'ma
O
chill.
to throw down on my toss. He got Chet. That's a bad weight. That's a bad weight matchup for Chet. You know what I'm saying?
That's a lot of weight going at you right
Yeah.
there.
Double O's. He got
A lot of
downhill on him.
mass.
I need him to keep that up, man. He had double-digit rebounds in that last game. Need it again.
Yeah, especially with how Vooch is playing. You know, gonna need y'all to. Vooch and Ayo might just do it.
He always struggles with him though.
Yeah.
Who does he not struggle with?
Well,
Man, listen.
Giannis.
Yeah.
Apparently, supposedly, whatever 30 and 15. Since all of a sudden 30 and 15 is not struggling.
Amen.
All right. What was I gonna say? Happy Halloween, everyone. Make sure to check your kids' candy for razor blades, ammo, heroin needles, marijuana.
And this is not the 80s.
Where are you from, Ant?
Listen, I'm just.
When
did we get a- When do we get a dare
Listen,
sponsorship?
This is a safety check.
People
for
are not
all
wasting their drugs to poison your kids.
Listen,
do not worry.
I'm just making. I'm protecting
we
kids.
We apparently got the dare
I'm protecting
sponsorship on
kids,
standby
Chris.
right now. So
I'm sorry for protecting kids.
shout out Dare, man.
But with that, thank you all for watching or listening to Hard Knock Hawks. Hope everyone has a happy Halloween, and we'll see you then.
Hawks.